Hi, Dr. T.
My
How
darling.
are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thanks for coming on Her Mentality podcast.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I know you have your own podcast. What's it called?
I do. It's called Revive and Thrive.
Amazing. Tell me
Absolutely.
about it.
So Revive and Thrive is just a platform where I talk to women and where we discuss pressing life issues, mental health, abuse, domestic violence, and I share survival stories on that podcast. I also use it as an avenue to teach because, people need the knowledge so they know exactly how to get out of a situation they're in. So I have some very powerful stories there, and I have some experts that I bring on to talk about different areas, whether it's health, mental support, counseling, etc.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And with that, tell me who Dr. T is.
Dr. T is a family physician. I've been practicing for about 31 years. I'm a mother of a beautiful 26-year-old daughter. And I also run a practice in Airdrie. I've lived in Airdrie for about 13 years now. I love the environment. I'm a co-founder of the Bridge Medical Clinic, which I run with my business partner. And now we care for close to 10,000 Aidronians.
Wow,
in that
10,000.
clinic. Absolutely, between all the doctors at the clinic. So I'm glad to be able to contribute to the community. I also work at the University of Calgary, where I'm a clinical assistant professor. Actually, I was saying earlier I was running a little late. I actually have 2 residents from the university that I had to take care of this morning before heading out to the podcast. So it gives me joy to be able to give back.
Yes.
And still talking about giving back takes me to the next thing I do. I run a non-for-profit which promotes health and education for those that are less opportuned or for those that need support. So whether it's paying their school fees, buying them materials, offering them counseling or whatever type of support people need just to promote their overall health. Once a year, I actually do free medical outreach back in Nigeria where we give free food hampers. Last year, I think we reached out to close to 500 families and with both medical and, of course, food. Because when you talk about Nigeria, where both of us are from, these are real challenges. And I try to do my little bit.
I can resonate with you 100% on that front because
absolutely.
we also run an outreach. I also run an outreach in Nigeria as well.
Awesome.
We visit the internally displaced people's camp where they have about over 3,000 people in some of these camps.
Of course.
Kids, their schools empty. Like what they call a school is a container, no seats, no books and all of that. So
it would be nice to collaborate on that front.
It would be fantastic where we
Absolutely.
take medical outreach to them.
Absolutely.
Most of them have, they ran away from insurgency and they are now staying in camps, in the rain, in the cold. So a lot of them, they're dealing with trauma and they're dealing with a lot of health issues, so I'm happy if we could collaborate on that.
Absolutely.
Nothing like supporting and helping humanity.
Absolutely.
It's so fulfilling. Okay.
Absolutely.
Dr. T, I want to ask, what drew you to mental health? I know you're a doctor from the core. What took you into medicine and then into mental health? Right. Tell me about that.
I always call mental health that part of our health that is not seen. Unfortunately, most times that you see the impact of mental health, it could be when the harm is done.
Yes.
And where people unalive themselves and where people have to face a lot of challenges. So it's not something we see. Yes. Therefore, I want to bring that to the fore, especially for people from my part of the world where religion is big. Yes. Where we share a lot of hope, where we tell people, just believe, it's not your faith, you don't have enough faith. But mental health is actually real. We talk about diabetes, high blood pressure. We can measure your pressure and say, these are your numbers. But how do I know how depressed you are or how anxious you are if you're having bipolar or even a full-on psychotic episode? So it's to bring that to light and to normalize the stigma around mental health, to let people know that you can struggle and that there is help that's available out there for you. I also have a very personal touching that really makes me emotional when we talk about mental health. In the 80s, my older sister actually took her own life, unfortunately, because she had suffered from mental health issues. And I saw my father weep for the first time when that happened. And I still remember her. She was a beautiful, promising lawyer. And she was doing so well, but she struggled.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she left us with a 3-year-old daughter at the time. And that was hard on our family.
Yes.
So with that, I really don't want to see any other woman get to that point where they decide to harm themselves. Yeah.
You see, I like that you talked about it from the angle of people from our area, because mental health then has been highly stigmatized, completely. Like my own sister last year passed on.
Oh, wow.
Mental
Sorry
health
for your
issues.
loss.
Yes. You know, I have a brother who went missing. Till today, we don't know, 13 years on.
Wow.
Yes. So for me, I am determined to acknowledge that mental health is a thing. I have seen it. I have seen it firsthand. And then acknowledging it in my own life where I struggle, and just noticing that, oh, this aspect of my being, I'm struggling here. I'm struggling here. My kid is struggling here. This is struggling here.
Absolutely.
That acknowledgement without any shame, without any thought of if anybody knows what would happen to me. I think that's another reason why I appreciate what you do.
Absolutely.
Because you kind of bring out that hidden voice.
Absolutely.
And then I'm looking to pair you with Jay. Jay is a fitness coach.
I know Jay.
If Jay is speaking from the angle of what happens in fitness, you will be speaking from the medical angle, because I find that in my own experience, when I am down and really cloudy, when I walk out, I just feel so joyful. There is this dopamine. You will not believe that I was the person who was down.
Absolutely.
So sometimes I just want to know what happens in the body. I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't explain it. What happens in the body?
So you already touched on one of it. There's actually a lot of evidence around physical exercise as part of what would help us with our mental health. Because when you get up, you get on the treadmill, or even if you just go for a brisk walk, it does help. You get some fresh air outdoors. It releases feel-good hormones. You talked about dopamine, serotonin. Those things definitely help your mental health, and they're good. But I would say they should not replace actual medication or therapy that a patient may need. So for all of us, and my patients come and say, Dr. Roberts, I've been exercising and I'm not losing weight. And I say to them, I'm sure your mental health is better. They say, yes, my motivation is better. I can do so much more. So don't just look at exercise as a chore. It does a lot for you. It's good for your joints. It's good for your blood pressure. It's good for your mind. And I think that's what we're talking about here. So there's scientific evidence that it helps. And the World Health Organization recommends 30 minutes of active, moderate exercises 5 days a week as
the barest minimum.
As the barest minimum.
Okay, beautiful.
Awesome.
So you've heard now, everyone, get your A game on in terms of fitness. And if you know you're struggling, please, there is no stigma.
Absolutely.
There is a lot of help. I know the bridge, you deal with a lot of patients who are in need of mental health support.
Absolutely.
So please reach out if you need to. So I'm going to take it from here. Leadership and community. You've been in Airdrie for 13 years, and you've run a practice here for 13 years. How has the experience been, and what keeps you going?
So I'll say the experience has been awesome. I know we'll get to talk about my book, but my third book is going to be my experience as an immigrant and how I actually set up a practice here.
Beautiful.
And I would say, having been born and grown up in Nigeria, grew up in Nigeria, schooled in Nigeria, worked a little bit in the US and in the United Kingdom as well. I know what it's like trying to start a business. It's not
Yes.
always easy, but I would say that Canada gave me that support that
Yes.
I needed. I got a lot of support. I remembered when we opened up the clinic, the Mayor Brown, actually showed up to help open our clinic. And Aidronians are generally just lovely people.
Yes.
And I have one, I was telling somebody the other day, I have a patient that used to live in Airdrie, moved to Okotoks. That's about 40 kilometers or more. And she still comes back to Airdrie to see me. And I'm like,
Wow.
find a doctor in Okotoks. And she's like, no, I want to come back here because this is still home for me. So it's pretty good. So I got a lot of support. There's the Airdrie Health Foundation.
Yes.
They were very, very supportive when we opened up. Physician recruitment at the time was hard. So just like anything, you know, we had teething problems here and there, but now things are a lot better. We have about 7 doctors in total.
Wow.
And we're serving the community, and it's been great.
You're loving it.
I'm
loving
loving
it for you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving back to the
Absolutely.
community. Thank you.
And what keeps me going? I think my passion has always been to help. That's probably why I went into medicine. And I always joke, when I was growing up in the 70s and I was in primary school, that is grade 1 to
Yes.
6 or so, I wanted to be a flight attendant because I love the way they dressed and I love the way they served. But later I was like, I don't think I'm going to make a lot of money doing that. But it's all about caring.
Yes.
So I took that into medicine because, as you well know back home, if you're smart, you either have to be a doctor, an
Lawyer.
engineer, a lawyer. Everything else is like, so of course I had to go the route of medicine, and I would say that's my passion.
Yeah.
Caring and seeing people feel better, not just physically, but also emotionally and mentally.
Yeah.
And I do that in several ways, not just in my clinic, but also the support group I run for women recovering from abuse. So I know that's my calling. More than believing, I know that's my calling. I find pleasure doing it.
Yes.
I'm happy seeing people from feeling down in the dumps to being alive and well and doing stuff and just thriving.
Yes.
That gives me so much joy.
Dr. T,
Yeah.
the face of a woman, broken face. She has scars, a lot of scars, and now you're sharing a book called A Piece of Me. That's the highlight of this podcast.
Absolutely.
Please, I don't know much, but I want you to tell us about this book.
Oh, wow. A Piece of Me, I would say, is a bold step that I took. It was born out of personal experiences, personal trauma, and that I navigated. The type of trauma that would almost extinguish people, if I can put that word. You know, when you see people and you say, oh, she looks like a shadow of herself.
Yes.
So there was a time in my life where I was also broken, very, very broken. And I went through my healing and recovery journey. And I came out on the other side better, stronger, and a lot of times thankful for what I went through, because I believe authenticity comes when you know you've walked a path. It's not a matter of, you're guessing, or you've read up, or you've asked ChatGPT what you should say. This is actually born out of lived experiences.
Correct.
So A Piece of Me is the name of a book that I'll be launching in September that talks about the true life stories of 5 women that endured domestic abuse, how they went through it, how they came out of it, and how they're thriving today.
Beautiful.
It also provides educational resources for people that may be suffering, for people that need knowledge, for people that are guessing, should I stay, should I go, how do I do it, how do I get the help that I need to heal and to thrive from whatever that abusive situation is. That book has the resources there for you. True life stories, of course, we've had to modify a few things to protect people's privacy, but it's out there not just to share the gory stories of domestic violence, but to let people know that there is hope on the other side. And we also acknowledge the fact that it's not only women that are victims, men can also be victims.
Yes.
But statistics tell us that women are more likely to be victims of domestic violence. And again, I just celebrate the bravery of the 5 women, because as you well know, in our community, just like mental health, there's a lot of stigma around separated people, people that are divorced, people that are single parents. So it's now time for us to accept and start to normalize that it's okay for people to choose themselves instead of sitting in an abusive situation. So the book launch is actually going to be an experience of the stories of those 5 beautiful women. I want to just say thank you to all the people that have registered. It is a free event, but of course we want people to come and support this vision. It's more than just the book. It's a community awakening in Airdrie for us to work with. We're not reinventing the wheel, but to work with the police, social workers, and all other organizations helping to address this endemic problem. We don't want to have another homicide. We don't want to have another man shoot his wife. We don't want to have another woman in a psychiatric ward because they're going through a problem. I was recently at urgent care, and I went to use the washroom, and on the wall was domestic violence is actually a health problem. And they were saying, look, if you have a problem, get some help. So this is a public health issue, and my book is just sharing the true life stories of those women to let people know that yes, it happens. It happens in our churches. It happens even in places that you think are the safest places. It can happen to anybody. Whether you're a professional, you work in McDonald's or Starbucks, doesn't matter. Whether you're a CEO or a director, you can still face domestic violence. That's what the book is about.
Sorry, go on.
Thank you. That's it.
I was going to say trauma. You touched on trauma. Is it possible to be going through trauma? You've gone through a horrible experience, and you are not aware that horrible experience has caused you trauma. How would I explain it? We were just talking about it. This is an umbrella. What you see outside is the umbrella. Underneath the umbrella, there are different support pillars,
of course,
right, of that umbrella. This is a whole human being, somebody who has been traumatized. Underneath that person, you have the emotional support, the mental support, all the different layers, family support. Is it possible for someone who has gone through trauma not to know they're experiencing the effect of trauma?
Absolutely possible. Knowledge is power. I share the story, and this would come out soon, about a patient of mine that had a lot of physical symptoms. I have a permission to share her story. A lot of physical symptoms. She was already in her late 70s, and all the tests we did came back normal, until one day she went and spoke to one of my team, and she actually told us she had been suffering domestic violence for over 30 years of her life, and she was too scared. Immediately we started to deal with the trauma that she was going through. All her physical symptoms disappeared. She started to feel better. She started to choose herself and to appreciate herself for who she is. So yes, sometimes people go through trauma, may not even know that their insomnia, not sleeping, is because of the trauma. That the fact that they're feeling anxious is because of the trauma. And that is where therapy and counseling comes in, to help to dig those things that are repressed or suppressed, because we want to survive as human beings. So no matter what you go through, the first thing that comes to your mind is survival. So you want to survive. You still want to show up at work. You still want to do all the things that you want to do, but it doesn't take away the struggle, because you do this, you have that facade, that big umbrella with beautiful designs. That's what everybody sees. But there are broken pillars underneath. So what we need to do is start to identify those broken pillars and start to mend them. As we're talking about that, there's a Japanese work of art called kintsugi, and in that work of art, what they do is they get broken pottery and they put it together with gold. And it's so beautiful. It doesn't take away the fact that there has been cracks.
Yes.
But what we're saying is that from those cracks, something beautiful can still come out.
Yes.
Which again brings me back to the book.
Yes.
If you look at the book cover, it just says that.
Yes.
Kintsugi. So no matter the trauma anybody may be going through, we can always find those broken pillars, fix them appropriately to ensure that that person thrives, and that umbrella still opens so beautifully, not just on the outside but the inside too.
So there's hope.
There is hope.
Because sometimes, why I'm saying this is that sometimes the mindset of a traumatized person does not remember hope. Doesn't remember hope. So how do we pass that message on? What is your advice to anybody who is going through domestic violence? Could be isolation, going through a form of mental health issue. What advice would you give to the person? I know there is 211, which we should call.
Absolutely.
And for those that don't want to pick the phone to call 211, practical steps, next steps to take, symptoms to look out for too.
Absolutely. I think the first thing is to acknowledge that you're struggling.
Yes.
You don't want to live in denial.
Yes.
You need to acknowledge that, you know what, I used to love playing pickleball and now I just don't want to leave the house.
Yes.
That's a problem right there. So acknowledging there's a problem, and then talk to somebody. If you don't want to pick up the phone, you can talk to a trusted friend. You could talk to your doctor. Come to the bridge. Say, hey, I'm struggling. I find I don't no longer enjoy pickleball. Now I'm not sleeping. I'm losing weight. I actually don't even feel like getting out of bed. Those may be symptoms that indicate depression. Some people will lock themselves up in the house for weeks on end. They will not leave. They'll just keep ordering Uber Eats and whatever, and they're not getting out. They're not cleaning their homes. They're not cleaning themselves. Those could be indications of a brewing mental health problem, and you need to get the right care. And people should not feel alone. They should not feel stigmatized. Statistics tells us that 10% of people will struggle from some kind of mental health disorder. And I always tell my patients, if you go into a room with 100 people, 10 people will probably be on medication. 10 people will probably be seeing a therapist or a counselor. So it's okay to be one of those 10, because the key thing is you want to feel better so that you can continue to live and enjoy your life as you should. Okay. So it's look out for the symptoms, and if you're really struggling, especially with suicidal thoughts, we always say there's a thin line between sanity and insanity. Get the help that you need and know that you're not alone. And people have walked that path before and come out, and you can as well.
Know that you are not alone.
You're not alone.
You are not alone. Because it's easy to think it's only happening to me. Exactly. I don't want anybody to know. I'm shy. But that's fact. If it resonates with you, you are not alone. Absolutely. And I think also, while you're getting that medical help, neighbors, just check on each other. It's very helpful. Just, hey, how are you doing? Just check on each other. I heard a story of, one of my friends was telling me a story of how she checked on one of her friends, and she found out that, voila, he was gone.
Oh dear.
He was gone.
Oh dear.
So I think we just need to be able to check on each other, be there for each other. Keeping the community together would help with that support.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on Her Mentality.
Welcome, Ivy.
Any other words you have to share with us?
Mental health is treatable.
Yes.
There is support available. We live in a beautiful community. We have community links. There's therapists. There's urgent care. There are family doctors. There are wonderful groups and events going on. I know you do the walk in the park. So many things going on. So try and be a part of that. And if you can't, maybe find a buddy, somebody you can talk to, somebody that can hold your hands as you walk through the journey. And of course, my book launch.
Yes.
I can't wait to welcome all the people. Registration is closed, but I can't wait to welcome all the people that are coming, and it's going to be a wonderful experience. Ivy, thanks for having me on your show today.
Thank you so much for coming. I cannot wait to be there. I can't wait to be at that book launch and to support you. Thank you so much for giving back to our community, and good luck with the future books and all the other endeavors.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ivy.
All right.